fellow Guyanese. I'm very pleased this afternoon to bring you some update on not only the political situation in our country, but also some of the challenges that we are facing as a country and as a people as we prepare to transition to a new government. It's important that we understand what is taking place from a social, political, and economic standpoint so that we would all be on the same page in relation to what has to be done, the challenges that we'll be facing, and the type of decisions that will be necessary to advance the plans, the programs, the development agenda of our country, and to ensure that we can deliver to all Guyanese. As you're aware by now, the recount process would have been completed, the tabulation has been completed, and a certified copy of the results of those tabulation and the recount has been issued to all the political parties. I want to take this opportunity once again to thank all those who participated in the recount process, not only in the recount process, but the electoral process prior to the elections, during and after. Our supporters, of course, our volunteers, the different agents who worked for us, our members, party members and leaders, their families who sacrificed a lot and put a lot of time into ensuring that the People's Progressive Party Civic would come out victorious in these elections. But I also want to thank all the other political parties and all of Guyana, members of the civil society, who contributed to ensuring that the recount was smooth, to ensuring that they played a part in securing the democracy and the will of the people in these elections. So I just wanted to again reinforce how grateful we are. We are also very thankful for all the political parties who have done the right thing so far, acknowledging the People's Progressive Party victory. The term used, if they have conceded, I think what they have done is that they have acknowledged the truth, and that is the People's Progressive Party Civic would have won these elections. Now that the recount is over, there's a lot of questions as to what next, what do we expect now, and when. But before I get into that, just to demonstrate to you what the PPP Civic has been saying all the time, in District 4, which was the contentious district or region number 4, I just want to share with you the final numbers. The recount, if you look at the recount here, we have the recount and the SOP. In the recount, the PPP got 116,941 votes. That's the APNU AFC, sorry. In the recount, got 116,941 votes. And the PPP got 80,920 votes. In the statement of poll, those were the recount figures. In the statement of poll figure, the APNU AFC got 116,950, which is just a difference of 9 votes. And the PPP got 80,887, a difference of 33. So you will see that more or less the recount figures in the statement of poll would have been almost identical. So, and then if you compare that to the Mingo's declaration, you will see that instead of 116,941 votes that APNU AFC got to the recount, Mingo gave them 136,057 votes. That is, he added 19,116 votes to the APNU AFC. And if you look at the PPP Civic figure, in the recount, we got 80,920 votes. In Mingo's declaration, we have 77,231 votes. He took away 3,689 votes from the PPP. So what Mingo did, he reduced the PPP civic votes by 3,689 in District Number 4, and he increased the APNU AFC vote by 19,116. And this is clear as daylight. APNU would like us to forget this. They would like to change all the narrative around this. They would like to change this fact. They would like to change these factual position, but the matter, the facts, they cannot hide from the facts in terms of what Mingo did in his fraudulent declaration. Now, as you're aware, based on the order, we are awaiting the declaration from the GCOM chair, who in turn is awaiting the report from the chief elections officer. However, based on the Constitution, Article 177(2)(b), whilst we are waiting based on the order, the Constitution makes it very clear that the party with the largest vote is deemed to be the party that would have won the elections, or the presidential candidate is deemed to be the president. So that is clear in Article 177(2)(b) of our Constitution, but we still await the declaration by Madam Justice retired Claudette Singh. So the outside date that the order give her is the 16th of June. Notwithstanding this, we have seen statements by the international community, statements by regional stakeholders, and various entities and organizations right here locally in relation to the recount, acknowledging that the recount sets the issue to rest. The results of the recount must be what is taken into account in declaring the winners of these elections, the winner of these elections, sorry. And so we are hoping that the right thing will be done, and very shortly we can have that smooth transition into government. You would also recall yesterday that I updated Guyana and the media in relation to our discussion with the Commissioner of Police. We raised a number of issues, and I want to clarify because I saw a headline in one of the online news outfit in which I said no witch hunting, and I mean that. The PPP Civic is not going into government on a witch hunting exercise. Notwithstanding that, however, we have made it very clear, we have asked accounting officers to guard against wrongdoings. We have asked them to act within the confines of the law. We have asked them to protect state assets. We have asked them to refuse to sign on to anything that is illegal and to distance themselves from all illegality. We have advised on more than one occasion. The second thing is in relation to state assets. Whilst we're receiving many reports of state assets, movable and immovable documents being moved away, we raised this with the Commissioner of Police. He would have assured us that he is going to look into the matter and ensure systems are in place to protect the state assets and documents as a whole. We reminded him that in 2015, the police would have outfitted all the ministries and departments with ranks from the TSU to ensure that this is done, and we are hoping that at a minimum, the same measures will be in place to protect the state assets. So that is it in relation to an update from the recount. I wish now to turn our attention a bit to what is happening in our economy, because you know many of the stakeholders in the private sector, many Guyanese that are very concerned about our economy. They're very concerned about what is taking place in our economy. And they're very concerned about their welfare and well-being. So I just want to briefly outline to you some of what is taking place in our economy, some of the challenges we have as we move forward, and then to look at some aspects of what need to be done. As you're aware also, yesterday we saw a news item which was very striking. In the campaign, the government promised that although they closed the sugar estates, that the remaining estates they would have worked on keeping open. We now learned yesterday that the government would have issued a statement that they have no money, no finances to keep Gaisuku going. This, of course, begs the question as to where that $30 billion facility would have been utilized in relation to Gaisuku. Whether the resources were redirected to other expenditure. These are questions that one must ask in relation to the news we have just heard. But what we are seeing in the economy is a contraction in growth. Even if you look at the IMF latest position in relation to their projection of our growth, they have adjusted our projected growth downwards by more than 25%. The IMF has adjusted our projected growth downwards by more than 25%. With the political instability, and this political instability is not only over the last 3 months, it is since 2018 after the no confidence motion was passed. Our country has been going through what I would term a political crisis. And of course, that has a significant impact on economic activity and also the business climate in our country. So that coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic, what we have seen is unemployment figures at a level of more than 25% in our society. 25%, that is the estimate we are having, that you have now almost a 25% unemployment rate. That is persons who are not working at the moment, and that is as a result of the combined factors of the political instability, the economic crunch, and the effects of the COVID-19. So these are some of the immediate challenges that we will have, ensuring that we put back people to work, ensuring that we implement the right measures to have businesses reopen, supporting businesses to reopen, and recreating energy in the economy so that jobs can be created and people can get back to work. Then we have what we're seeing also is that on the revenue side, we have significant decline in revenue. For a matter of fact, based on the trend, revenue, in my estimation, is projected to contract by almost 5%. In dollars terms, that is almost $10 billion. So if the projection hold true, and you have a reduction in revenue of 5%, then that is a reduction of almost $10 billion from the revenue side. And this is coming at a time when we need to find resources to help not only businesses, but to help workers, to help families, to help people at the household level. So these are some of the immediate challenges. Of course, to couple this is the wasteful expenditure by government that has really ballooned up our domestic debt. You know, over the last 5 years, the government has basically overspent $100 billion. That has obviously ballooned up our domestic debt, and it has led to large fiscal deficit. The non-oil sector also has contracted, and it has contracted by as much as 8%. If you look at what is happening in forestry, mining, although the mining, the price for gold is helping mining a bit and the low cost of fuel, we have still seen contraction in the mining sector, in the forestry sector, the agricultural sector, the services sector, the construction sector, and these are the sectors that dominate in terms of job creation. At the existing prices also, we will see proceed from oil, from our oil resources declining. For a matter of fact, in our projection, it was said that the first shipment of oil brought in revenue of about 55 million US dollars. The last shipment that went out, the revenue that came in from that shipment would have fell by more than 20 million US dollars. And that is as a result of the low price for oil now. So revenue fell from 55 million US dollars to 20 million US dollars. So that is another, whilst we benefit from the cheaper import of oil and oil products, we are now an oil producing country, and what we have seen is a decline in our revenue from oil sale. And that is, the first shipment was about 55 million US. This shipment you saw a decline by almost 20 million US dollars. We have also, examining the data, we have seen bankruptcy in the household sector is at an all-time high. As of December 2019, for example, non-performing loans stood at over $10 billion. These are loans that people that are in distress or people are having difficulties in servicing. And with the current political situation and COVID-19, this situation is expected to worsen, because this was the situation as of December 2019. So we will have to take this into consideration also, the COVID-19 and the existing situation. Many businesses are not in operation for almost two to 3 months now as a result of COVID-19 and the political situation, especially in the hotel industry, the services sector, the construction sector, and I will come to some figures in hardware, for example. So what all of this has led to a situation where our import cover is approximately 2 months now. That is, the resources we have in reserve can only afford to pay for 2 months of import. 2 months of import. So our import cover has declined to about 2 months. Another worrying sign is the principal exchange rate on the streets. The exchange rate on the street is between $240 to $250 to $1 US dollar. That is another situation that we have to monitor. And of course, as I said earlier, the sugar industry is not on the verge of collapsing anymore, but is now in total financial chaos and crisis. The government has announced they have no money for the industry, so this is another major issue we will have to tackle as soon as we transition into government, along with ensuring the productive sector get back going. We have the right mix of incentives and measures to put people back to work, to bring back life to the productive sector, to bring back energy to the economy, to reignite construction, and to build back the confidence in Guyana as an investment venue, and in Guyana as a country. The other thing is that what we have seen recently in a survey conducted by the private sector, it revealed that hardware and retail sector activities declined by as much as 40 to 50%. Now, this is a massive decline in terms of the hardware and retail sector. And obviously, This is as a result of availability of money. People are not, people are unemployed, they don't have access to resources, they don't have money, less is spent in the economy, the businesses are affected, the retail sector is affected, people are spending less on construction, and as a result, you see a 40 to 50% decline in hardware and retail sector. As I said before, the tourism and hospitality sector is literally dead at the moment. Trucking activities is down by almost 60%. And that can tell you what is really taking place in the construction sector. And also the shipping sector, when your trucking activity is down by almost 60%. The bauxite industry is also having financial difficulties. And the insurance sector, financial sector. The insurance sector has seen a 25 to 35% decline in premium. A 25 to 35% decline in premium. So these are some of the challenges that is facing us head on as we transition into government. However, we have already put together a menu of measures. We are working now to look at the priorities, how we can cut back expenditure, how we can ensure that the productive sector gets back moving, put back people to work, a rescue plan for Gaisuku, and to ensure that the decay in our economy or the downslide is halted, and we can return our economy to vibrancy, especially the non-oil sectors. So my dear viewers and listeners, fellow Guyanese, this is where we are. Definitely within days, we'll be addressing you on the way forward, the priority areas, and the key aspects of re-energizing our economy and bringing back confidence in our country. So I want to thank you, our viewers, for your time that you would have shared with us. And I want to assure you that we are ready to work with every Guyanese, to work with all Guyanese, to work with all stakeholders in moving our country forward together for the betterment of all Guyanese. Thank you very much.